Hey everyone, welcome back to the range. My name is Matt, also known as the King of Armor Destruction, the Armor Wizard, Zap, and we have a body armor demo today from Hanlin Tactical. Now, in full transparency, Hanlin sent these plates over for me to destroy with no strings attached. A lot of times, I don't know what I'm going to shoot at these plates until I get out here at the range and I look at the box. What do we have today? A level 3+/RF2 plate made out of our little hexagon silicon carbide tiles. Let's go to the B-roll and check out what we've got for our specs. We have tested some of Hanlin Tactical's plates in the past, and he builds very, very robust plates. The polyethylene that he is using is amazingly strong. This particular level 3+ RF2 plate is this 910 thousandths thick, 23.11 millimeters for those across the pond, 4.80 pounds or 2.2 kilograms. They are multi-curve. You can see all those nice sexy curves there. We got a curve here and we've got a curve here. Very, very comfort fitting depending on your body type. Now, if this is the first time you're viewing my YouTube channel, I do all my body armor demos completely different than everyone else on YouTube. I'm probably the only sucker who's dropped $1,600 on some Roma #1 plastilina clay, so I have a solid backing. We're after worst case scenario here. Since this is rifle armor, we shoot at 45 feet. We also shoot at 0 degrees, again, because that represents worst case scenario. Any of these weird oblique angles only add to the material that bullet has to penetrate and could give you false performance expectations. As I mentioned, we have a giant clay briefcase filled with Roma plastilina #1 clay from Chavant. That acts as our compressible media to put the body armor up against. Now, it is a representation of what back face could be. It's the same clay, but the NIJ heats it up and they drop a ball on it. And we're out here in the woods. It's around 70 degrees outside today. The clay has been heating up, but we're just looking at a representation. If we see something like 60 millimeters in our clay from 5.56, that would be failing in the NIJ's eyes. Since this employs a ceramic strike face per the NIJ, we've gone ahead and dropped each plate on its face 2 times as a preconditioning test. Once we've done that, we mark each plate with a DT indicating that the drop test has been done. If we do it more than 2 times, we have a number on the side here. Then we apply a torque test. That's where we listen for any cracks in the plate. If we don't hear any, that we mark with a TQ. Now, this is a tile array plate, and Hanlin Tactical up front mentioned that this is not full edge-to-edge coverage. So this line that you see around here is me pretty much stabbing this strike face with a knife to see where the ceramic goes to. This particular edge that you see here is non-ballistic rated. Now, any NIJ plate, even certified ones, can have a foam ring on here because the NIJ will not shoot closer than 2 to 3 inches from the edge. It's your responsibility to ask the manufacturer or reseller, if you're looking at these plates, if they have edge-to-edge strike face, and they, on the flip side, should be offering as much transparency as possible and telling you that if that plate is lighter than normal, that could be because they don't have full edge-to-edge strike face. We also use a chronograph whenever possible, like Pro Chronopal Digital Deluxe for the time being, because we need to know the velocity of that bullet. We put a spreadsheet here at the beginning and the end that we kind of foreshadow all the threats that we're going to shoot at it. At the end, we mark our penetrations and our velocity, and we do a teardown because I'm always interested in what the construction of our plates look like. A lot of companies are learning and are laminating their strike faces or adding Kevlar or polyethylene over the strike faces, and it keeps it together longer, and that offers better multi-hit capability. I do want to remind everyone that I am not an NIJ lab. I am a little bit more of the entertainment, infotainment side. So if you see either a threat stopped or penetrated over here, you should always defer to the manufacturer or reseller to produce accredited lab results that are somewhat recent that show those threats being stopped. And on the flip side, if you're the manufacturer and you see me stop M80A1 at your plate or some other armor-piercing threat, you should send it off to a lab and have it added as a special rifle threat. Plate #1 is strapped in and ready to go. We're going to start off our assessment with our 308 or M80 ball. This is Winchester white box surplus. This is 145, 150 grain full metal jacket. The jacket is bimetal, meaning that it has a steel or magnetic attracting metal in it, typically steel. I think there was some confusion online that says you can't buy this in the store, and I bought this from the local Cabela's. It's just surplus Lake City stuff. We have a 24-inch Savage 110 tactical, so we're going to see quite a bit more velocity over the standard. Now, I've tested Hanlin's plates in the past, and his polyethylene is really good, so I imagine it's going to handle this fairly good, but we won't know until we try. We have our Pro Chronopal Digital DLX there, as well as our Garmin Zero C1 Pro. This should be easy enough to see. Our M80 ball shot number 1, 2, and 3. And like I mentioned, we were 200 feet per second over spec. So we're being extra mean to this plate. Helper hand. Oh, no pass-throughs, folks. Now, we are starting to delaminate the construction of this plate a little bit because of that muzzle energy. You can see that we've pushed that around. So we're going to be very careful with follow-up shots. Now, as far as back face go, I would say this guy up here is the worst. 67 millimeters, but our like shot right here in the center, 15 millimeters, shot down here, 31 millimeters. Somewhat impressive there. We're seeing just a little more back face than I'd like to see from 308, but again, we're over spec. All right, time to see if the little engine that could can find its way through this compromised plate. We brought out our 22-inch TC compass, so this is maximum real world threat value for 5.56 until we go to 22 Creedmoor, and then we can bump that up a bit. But we have some factory loadings here. We have our 55 grain full metal jacket, lead core round, known for popping steel. Polyethylene can stop it. Most ceramic does as well, unless we get a lot of speed. We have M855, that is the SS109, quote unquote green tip, 62 grain lead core with a conical steel penetrator, 49 to 50 RHC. Then we have the U.S. Army's current issue ball round all the way down to basic. This is M855A1, the enhanced performance round. 62 grains again, copper core, larger and harder, 5960 RHC scale penetrator. So the M193 first, I'm going to put this right at the top of the plate. Lots of carnage going on here. M193 shots number 1, 2, 3, and 4. Then M855 number 1, 2, 3, and 4. That's a little close to that one. Then our M855A1 number 1, 2, 3, and 4. Helper hand. Hey, absolutely no pass-throughs, folks. Let's peel this back cover off and confirm. Very good laminating layer on the back there. I see no penetrations. Oh, we'll have to check that guy right down there. That could just be a little discrepancy there, but we'll make sure that that didn't poke through. That was on the M80 shot anyways. It could just be the fabric is broken because it is aramid. Back face is getting to be a little excessive, but we're putting a lot of energy on this plate. We're using silicon carbide, which is the gray ceramic. Plate number 2 is strapped in and ready to go. We have our 22-inch Springfield M1A national match here, and we've got the U.S. Army's military loading 7.62 NATO M80A1. This is the evolution of M80. Kind of like M855A1, has a copper core and a very large hard arrowhead steel tip, although it's not as hard as M855A1. This is only 49 to 50 on the C scale, 130 grains. We should see 3,000 feet per second. And then I'll put this one. I was measuring 30-23 on the Garmin here. Well, for foreshadowing a little bit, we brought out the 24-inch 308. We're going to take 2 more shots of our M80A1 at this plate and move on to some other threats. Lower left-hand corner. Nice shooting, Deacon. Given our plate has already stopped a tirade of 5.56 threat, this seems like a moot point, but given that Hanlin is from Taiwan and these plates could be purchased in various different countries, 5.45 is somewhat of a valid threat. This is 7N6M. It is effectively the same as our 7N6 52 grain with a steel penetrating core. The core is hardened to around 60 on the C scale. We have an SSG 82 here. This has almost a 24-inch barrel. We'll take 2 shots on the plate with this. All right, this should be easy to see. All of our shots are fair hits in my eyes. The M80A1, the 7N6Ms, and the other 2 shots of M80A1. Place those bets in the comments below. R.A.N.G.E. We have 1 penetration down there in the corner from that M80A1. You can see the jacket is actually right there. But the other rounds, we're stopped. We'll peel this all off when we're done and confirm. As far as our back face goes, let's look at this guy over here. That's right around 60 millimeters. And this guy down here, right around 30. And this one up here, 21. So we're seeing controlled back face, but we're seeing more of it on some of our 30 cal threats, which is to be expected. 2 more shots. We have 8.6 black. This is a 300 grain copper solid round. We've shot some of these against our level 3A and have penetrated even against some SRT plates. I don't think this is going to go through this plate, but we just want to do it for shits and giggles. For my final trick, let's go maximum overdrive. This upper is from KAK Industries. It's an 18-inch 22 Creedmoor, effectively a more efficient 22-250. It has much faster twist rates. This is 1 in 7, very well built upper here. Now, typically you're going to shoot very large and long bullets out of this, but what I've been shooting out of is military loadings. We have 4 flavors here. We have SS190 from 5.7. We have our 55 grain full metal jacket M193. We have M855, and then we also have M855A1. 4,400 feet per second. 3727. 3433. 3561. Nice! Wowzers, Batman. Lots more hits on this plate. Deacon's 8.6 black right there and right there. I would consider that one a fair hit. That one may be pretty close. Then our super speed 22 Creedmoor SS190, M193, M855, and then our M855A1. Place those bets in the comments below. R.A.N.G.E. We had 1 penetration, it looks like, from the M855A1 super speed. We'll get that pulled off in a minute and confirm. Now that could have been pretty compromised from the M80A1 on both sides, but otherwise, man, this plate took a beating. Paging Dr. Matt to surgery, paging Dr. Matt to surgery. Now for a fan favorite, the teardown. That's where we get to look at the guts of these plates to see what they're made of. This Hanlin Tactical RF2 has many layers, actually. Let's start with the front cover, the polyurea truck bed liner, 0.49 thousandths thick. We've got a edge protectant on there. Very interesting. I'm not sure what this is, but it makes up that coating. There's our little shots there. Here is our strike face. We are using our little hexagon tiles. I measured those right around 240 thousandths thick. We have somewhat of a laminating layer. We have got our aramid Kevlar, you can see right there. Again, I measured that at 49 thousandths thick. Here is that foam ring that we talk about on tile array plates, so those tiles do not extend all the way edge to edge. It can be done. A lot of companies have started doing it, so they have to specially cut the tiles in the end to stay together. I would say, based on what we shot at this plate, a lot of these tiles are still in place because of that laminating layer. And then we've got another polyurea coating on top of that. So he's doing a very good job of constructing these plates. Here is our polyethylene backer. There's one of our 8.6 black rounds. Didn't get very far, but that other one got a little bit more in there. This is our ultra high molecular weight polyethylene. It does look pressed, although the amount of muzzle energy that we put on it seems to have caused it to delaminate this time, but I still can't just thumb through the layers like I have in other plates, and it's actually still fairly rigid. That's a good thing. Confirmed, our only penetrations were the Plus P Plus 22 Creedmoor M855A1, as well as the 24-inch M80A1. This was the first shot of that 24-inch M80A1, and it almost poked through, but this other laminating layer that we're using on the back right here actually stopped it. I measured our polyethylene right around 540 thousandths. Then here is that rear laminating layer. I measured that right around 46 thousandths to 50 thousandths thick. I would say this is our Aramid Kevlar fiber arrangement. Very, very impressive. On plate number 1, confirmed there are no penetrations whatsoever on that. We did have a little more back face, and again, we're starting to delaminate this panel. But otherwise, I would say this is a fairly impressive plate. If I was looking for an RF2 on the lighter side and you're willing to give up that edge-to-edge protection, this is a viable contender, folks. Well, folks, I would sleep easy at night if I purchased that Hanlin Tactical RF2 plate. That silicon carbide hexagon tiles do very good at stopping a lot of our threats. Now, in the grand scheme of things, this is an RF2 plate meant to stop M193, M855, 7.62 by 3.9 mild steel core, and our M80 ball. And we did all that at velocities well above anything the NIJ would actually test at. And we even stopped M80A1 only after we beat the crap out of the plate and shot the super speed M80A1 and our Plus P Plus M855A1 did we finally penetrate that plate. That goes to show you that for the most part, quality ceramic plates are definitely multi-hit capable. I like the construction of this plate. There are lots of layers that go hand in hand in keeping it together and either controlling back face or stopping any fragments or things that could get through. If I can offer any constructive criticism, it would be to find a way to get those special cut tiles so that we have full edge to edge, and work on possibly making sure that our polyethylene is pressed as good as it can. When we tested Hanlin's RF3 or level 4 plates, those PE backers actually held up very well, and they did not delaminate as easy as I thought these did. Now, it could be that this is a thinner plate, so that thinner polyethylene could be more subject to being delaminated easily. With all that being said, it's time for me to get the heck out of here, but at the end of all my videos, I take a moment to thank all those who help make these possible, because there's a lot that goes into them. Number 1 is my family. Deacon came out here to do some shooting today while the wife was off at a lifting competition, so it's a welcome that they can come out and enjoy this hobby with me. Number 2 is my Patreon, Subscribe Star, and YouTube channel members. I have a little campsite link in the description below. It's a little URL landing page. It has different affiliate codes or discount links that cost you nothing, and they earn me a sales commission. And what I do with that is I put it right back in the channel. I buy suppressors or ammunition or different barrel lengths for when we do testing, that we have that wide data set for you guys so you have better information. Number 3 is Hanlin Tactical. Again, in full transparency, send us those plates to destroy with no strings attached. And of course, number 4 is you all for watching. And until next time, I'll catch you at the range.
So much fire, so satisfying.